All right, so today is December 6th. Yeah, December 6th, 2021. Um, so I'm doing a recap what wasn't a great day for me. Um, it was good and not good, but I essentially I just kind of lost control and tilted and then got emotional and took some bad trades that effectively wiped out all the gains of everything that I had worked for last week, the whole of last week. Everything just wiped out. But you know, it's yeah, it was just not really. It wasn't good. And what's weird is there isn't any excuse. It wasn't because I had bad predictions or anything like that. It was all just because I was putting myself under pressure, buying too much in, over trading. It was just one thing leading to the next, to the next, to the next, right? So imagine you've taken a bad trade and then you start over trading or averaging down to make a better trade, and you're just not even trading to a particular plan. You're just trading to your emotions and trading your P&L. And that's essentially what happened today. And it really put me in a bad mood because today was not a hard day to trade. But I learned a lot still. And it really made me think about what how I'm supposed to trade and what I'm supposed to do and how I'm supposed to do it. But anyway, some things I'm going to change now. Some things I'm going to work on, but just going to talk through everything I did. So I actually started yesterday. I was trading this part of the chart, and that's where the problem started. I wasn't really thinking about what I was doing. I hadn't even analyzed what I was doing. All I know is I just saw this. I thought we had a wedge. I said we're pulling back, and of course that wedge failed. So obviously we're going for a measured move. But I didn't think of it that way. This part opened, and then I took it short because I thought, okay, double top, we're going down. Got to the moving average. I did not look at the moving average and took a big loss on that. I mean, I think I made money and then just had bad form. I was trading the 1 minute chart. That was another thing. I was trading the 1 minute chart. I started making bad trades in this region. And this region alone made me lose almost everything. Um, yeah, and then had all sorts of issues. Had to deal with my daughter who was crying, and that threw me off. And this as well, just everything just didn't work out. So I let it go. I remember waking up around 4 a.m. and I saw this and I thought, wow, it's so funny. We had the pullback I was looking for, the pullback here, which, sorry, was this up? Oh no, I was looking at the ES. I remember I charted this zone and we had this pullback and I thought, wow, look at that. We're getting our pullback. And that would have been a really nice short. Interesting, you could actually see that we were working towards one. But, I just was not thinking about what I was trying to do. I came in this morning, I was very upset, decided to take a trade. I loaded I took this trade with my MES. Actually, did I go long or short? I think I went long at the open. I went long on the ES first. I went long here, and then I decided to go short. No, I went short, but I put a stop here, which was stupid. So I went short, put a stop here, got stopped out. I think it was on the ES, but they were both the same pattern. It was on the ES. Then I went short again, and then this ran down, and I made pretty much half of everything I lost. I was happy about that, and I thought, okay, great, I should probably stop the day. And then went short again here, straight in the 1 minute chart, and this bar started to go up. Started printing many bars, and half of everything I made disappeared, and I was so annoyed. And that's where the tilting started. Scalped this a bit, went up, went down, went up, went down. Bought low, sold high, made some money, but I didn't want to trade the big contracts because I realized that I knew I could lose money. When I go here, I thought, okay, when I shorted here, the big mistake was the initial short, the stop was here. When I shorted here, the stop is still here, but I put so much in that when I was over here, I'd already lost so much I got out. I couldn't see myself adding some more here because it was just not really right. And yeah, it was a badly managed trade. So a lot of today we'll be talking about trade management. Then in here, I saw we had a wedge, or we had formed a wedge, 1, pullback 2, pullback 3. And so therefore I decided to short here. I saw this was red at first, took it short, scalped it, and then for some reason I went long, because I think I was listening to Al, and Al was talking about, oh yeah, because this chart was still had broken out. So I thought this was going to do the same, but this now went down whilst this, and I went long. I kept on adding and averaging down, and at one point my risk was so high I had lost pretty much everything I had made back here. And I forgot to put I was moving my stop, and then I turned away and my stop was over here and it got hit. So everything even though it reversed, because I was prepared to hold for this, it just hit my stop and I was down quite a lot. My mouse stopped working properly. It's a wireless mouse and it wasn't working right, and I couldn't get out of another trade, and I was just panicking and I was upset. And that ruined my day. Anyway, I took a break, came back, and decided, okay, I'm going to try and trade this day properly. I was watching Al Brooks's trading room, and that helped a lot. At first it was distracting, but it helped a lot. And it made me put things in perspective on what was going on in this day. And from there, I realized that actually there's more to it than that. I started paper trading. I scalped these areas. I had a plan to try and hit my target paper trading, and I did. Took a trade here, took a trade there, and then took one here. This failed. Like, I went short because I thought this was a breakout. This was a breakout that was failing, so I went short, got stopped out. Went long, and then got stopped out here because I put my stop in the wrong place. My stop's supposed to be here. Then went long again, and then I remember we're going for a measured move, and I'm going to show you in the chart what I did. And we got to our measured move, which was about here. And so that worked out well. I tried to, because I noticed we were losing momentum, because, and then also we formed a wedge up here. I noticed we were losing, actually I didn't notice the wedge until later on, but we started losing momentum. So I took a short. Here, I didn't have a signal to go short. I just took a short. And I realized that was a bad idea later on, that I really should have had a signal. But I took it short with a few contracts, and I had one more contract to add to my position in case it had pulled back. And it's just one contract, and I had 2 others or 3 others, I can't remember. It's 2 others, I think. Anyway, so I now added that last contract here, and then when we came down, I just took everything for almost break even, and made some money, but decided nah. Then I tilted again. I added so many contracts because I went short, and we started going. Actually, I went short here, I think, or was it here? And I noticed we had a gap. That wasn't here. I noticed we had a gap between this. Yeah, it was this high and this low. So that told me that the trend is still very strong. And when this bar appeared, I thought, oh dear. So I went into the NQ and went long at first. Yeah, I went long here, pulled, I got stopped out. Then I went short and just averaged down so many contracts and made back everything I had lost from that section. I decided I wasn't going to trade anymore and just watch this. I was watching this and I thought, okay, I know we definitely going to cross a moving average at some point. How am I going to do this? And this is what I want to talk about today. Some of the things I learned today just trading with Al. Oopsie daisy. Just get the where is it? I just lost it. There it is. So if we talk through what's actually going on in the market, I think that's the best place to start. We can actually look at, I'm just going to focus on the ES. Some of these lines are actually confusing, and I don't know if they're helpful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put let's use this chart. No, not this one. Trends, okay. And then just clear this chart. So as we can see, we've been kind of doing this. We kind of sold off and then also looking, if we start with the monthly chart, we kind of really overbought over the 20 bar exponential moving average, and so we're really far away from it, and I think we're coming down to test it. Last one closed on its low. This is a trigger for a sell, and as you can see, we've actually come back and still forming a doji, and I think we're going to go sideways for a bit. Weekly chart, we've kind of spiked, pullback, channeling up sort of thing, so we're kind of going up like that, and we're kind of finding support on this moving average, which is really quite interesting. But as you can see, lots of bull bars. Now we're getting bear bars, more bear bars are coming in, really strong bear bars, almost like this. I think there was a time last year where we were in a sideways consolidation for quite a while. I mean, we're sideways here. Don't know why the week is doing this. I should probably put that. But then the daily as well. I'm going the lines in. And on the daily, as you can see, we've pulled back, rallied up. We're now pulling down. Here we did 3 pushes. 1 pullback, 2 pullback, 3, and then we started going up. Same thing here. 1, 2. I want to say this is 3, and this is us going up, but I can see we're already forming a wedge. Here, 1, 2, 3. This looks like this wedge may have failed. If we break this high, I'm sure we're going to go for a measured move, which will be about there. At least that's what I'm thinking, if we break this. So I can see what the bulls are trying to do. This is not exactly the daily chart I want to look at. Let's look at this daily chart. Right, that's the one I'm interested in. Still the same thing, but you can also see we've formed a wedge here. 1 pullback, 2. Oh, maybe there's another one. Wait, 2 pullback. I'm not sure. But yeah, so that's the daily chart. And then if we now go look at, let's just look at the 1 hour, just to kind of see things from this perspective. So as you can see on the 1 hour, we've been in a bear trend. 1, 2, 3. I would say this is the third leg down. I would call this a range, even though it looks like the third, but it looks like this is exhaustive. This is a double bottom, and really I should have expected this rise. 1 pullback, 2 pullback, 3. We had a nice wedge top today. But this day hadn't printed, obviously. As you can see, we bounced off the moving average, or at least we're above the moving average, and we closed a lot of bars above the moving average compared to other bars. This is a thing I need to always do before the day starts. Look at how we're trading. I know we're kind of in this range here. We've gapped up above this. We have strong resistance in this region because this is a really nice sell area. However, one needs to really consider what is going on and what has happened. We made a nice double bottom. It's probably a low major trend reversal. Yeah, so if we go back to, and I'm not going to show the Globex chart because it's not relevant. I realize we can do this without the Globex chart. And this is how today was. So essentially we had this really strong bear trend on Friday, had a nice bottom, and then we had a major trend reversal over here, which was a low major trend reversal, and then we broke above the moving average, pulled back, tested the moving average, and then went higher. This morning we opened up here, and then we sold off strongly. This was a signal to this is a signal for us to where is it now? Here we go. That was a signal for us to sell off, because that was 2 very strong bear bars. But I remember when I was trading, I'll mention something really interesting. Is that, fair enough, we have 2 strong bear bars, but that's also because this is the trend that's continuing from yesterday, if you think about it. So it's in line with what's going on here. It's not like, if we go back here, you see how strong these are. 2, this was a trigger to go short, and that trigger was not. I mean, I went shorts round about the open because I was trading a 1-minute chart. But as you can see, this was a very strong trigger. It tested the support. So 1 and 2, 50% of reversal, 50% of opens at the open always reverse. So see, reversal. There's always like a test of some sort of support or resistance. Here, reversed. And I think that's what's interesting. Always looking for, again here, reverse, looking for what the resistance or support is, reverse. It's almost like the market finds a direction and then it changes its mind where it wants to go. Here, this was a trading range, so slightly different, but you can see here we sold off, pulled back, reverse. So continuation of the previous day is very useful, and knowing where the supports and resistances are. And I think what I sometimes fail to look at is understanding the relevance of this section. Also, you can see we were in a trading range here. This is the top of the range, which has offered some sort of resistance. It was a bull breakout, a test of that resistance, and I think that's something I should have really noticed or noted. So I'm just going to draw. Actually, I don't need to do that. I can do this instead. I'm going to take this box and duplicate it so I have a really good sense of what's going on for the future. There we go. All right, so this is a trading range. So what happened between these two bars? We came over, tested this resistance, and we could say, you could argue at a wedge 1, 2, 3, pull back, and then we now had a trading range. So this bar was very surprising. I didn't think this bar would be this strong. I was expecting to have a wick at the top, and I was expecting this to come back down because of how strong this was. So 4 and 5, we had, I'm sure bulls were very disappointed. Of course, I would be very disappointed. No, sorry, bears were disappointed because we saw this and they could not get this to come down. They tried to fill the gap, also wanted to go past moving average, could not do that. Bulls were buying off that, and in the end, you now had a situation where you had inside and outside bars. That's something that I need to understand better, how to read the price when you have inside outside bars and what that means, because you're having it over here too. You had a bull bar closing on its low with a tail at the bottom, in at the top of an opening range. This is a nice breakout mode pattern. Bar 9, nice breakout, and then at this point, something Al said which was really interesting was this bar being bullish, and even though it's a doji, but it was a green bar, did not close as a bear bar, so therefore there was no signal for the bears to short. This was a sign that we were going higher, and one could have bought this bar and put their stop around here, or even at the base of this bar. We had a tight consolidation or trading range over here. I actually took some trades in here just by, using limit orders to sell at the top and buy at the bottom. I almost messed this one up over here because I realized once I got into a trade, I think I had shorted at this point. I don't know why I shorted, but I did because I think I was expecting follow through here and the trading range continue. But I realized we had already completed the trading range. 1, 2, 3. And then we started to rally. You see some very strong bull bars in here, only one bear bar. And again, this same pattern that we had over here, it's bull breakout, right? Bar 35. Closing with a green body, not a bull body, so no opportunity for bears to sell. And then we just had a small pullback bull trend as a result of that. A very tight channel, we call this a micro channel. And way above the moving average. Every time the prices come to the moving average, it had been bought. So any wedge that we may form, 1, pullback 2, pullback 3, was going to fail. This was the first time we had a wedge, a double top over here. I'm just going to move this to the side so it can be seen. Yeah, there we go, double top over here, and as a result have the reversal. Something Al again which said, which was so interesting, was the fact that, well, you know that this is the biggest bar in this whole channel, so this is the end, or at least a sign of the end, the final flag. This itself is a final flag from this trend, possibly. And then you know that we're going to hit the moving average at some point, so you might as well short a bar, or take a short, because you know you're going to close below the moving average. And that's exactly what's happened over here, because 99.9% you are going to close below the moving average in a bull trend. When that happened, we go into a trading range, which was interesting. Nice spike and channel pullback, channel, and then you could argue a wedge 1, 2. I'm showing the Globex charts, not as of today, we now have the third push down. Let me see, maybe not the third push, but where are we? All right, we're getting there. Here we go. There we go. I think there's a double bottom. Point is, yeah, here we go. 1, 2, 3, double bottom. So yeah, we had this third push. This is not so difficult to read because there's so many things that you need to, that the price is telling you it wants to do. You need to look for where the supports and resistances are. That is the most important thing. Never really thought about it. Dynamic supports in the moving average, supports and resistances in things like open of the week, open of the month. I don't know where it is. It was written here somewhere. I don't know. It's moved. But this is the month's open. Oh, it says this is yesterday's high. Actually, this is yesterday open of the month. That offers all sorts of resistance. Now, all these things are all parts, highs and lows of bars on different charts or time frames. They are very relevant to how price will move. And then also the 60-minute or 60-bar moving average. This is a very, very, very important support or resistance. Over here, notice how we've held it, and then here we rejected it, and then here we went through it today, which tells us we're now in a trading range. If we find support on it, maybe if we come back, test it, and then we go higher, that would be a good sign for the bulls. Here we go, measured move targets. Here, definitely hit that target. I also did another one. This was a failed wedge. As you can see, 3 pushes up. It did not work. Therefore, we're going for a measured move up. At that target, you see they took profits. Oh god. And then, excuse me. I also noticed as well later on, not that it's a thing, but the Globex chart had a measured move as well. What do I have? Oh, this is the other. Yeah, we had a measured move on the Globex chart as well. So if you go in default, yeah, there we go. This one, the range from the Globex high to the low, the breakout of that, which is what this was, led us to a measured move to the top, which was amazing. So, and then looking at this range, I think this was a failed wedge. I remember I charted this in the morning. I sent to the group, I said, we had a failed wedge, looks like a possible measured move, and we got there, and then we rejected it. Yeah, so that was really good. And then here, obviously, we have a measured move based on this range to the top there. As you can see, that is a really good gauge there. A few more measured move targets. Today, like I said, wasn't hard. I just needed to have been focused, looking at the price properly, and just really taking my time to get a good sense of what really was going on. I actually don't need these lines. They're actually more confusing than anything. I realized that even when price got here, I thought, should I short this? I tried going short at first, and I thought, no, we're in a strong bull trend above the moving average. This is not a good idea. In fact, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make this even brighter. I'll probably make it white because it's hard to see. Yeah, and yeah, so as I was saying, these lines are actually confusing. They're not, I mean, they can be helpful, but they weren't helpful today. I think what I'm going to start doing from now is just take my time. I don't have to take the trade at the open. There are other opportunities here. If this was in long, I can always catch the pullback. I learned today that you can be very selective in the sense that see a massive breakout like this, expect follow through. You could have shorted on the moving average. Wait for a bear bar to close on its low. You can take this short, put your stop up here. I normally like to go for 3 points just for quick scalp. And as you can see, we got even more than 3. 10 points is my goal for the day. Here was definitely a good long stop down here if I wanted, and go for another 3 points, and you had so much more than 3. Even over here you had 3, depending on the size of your contracts. But there are just so many things I could read in the market. Seeing this range here down, big up, you already have a range forming. You know that you're on a trading range. If you want to use a limit order, just put your thing here, Use a wide stop. If you want to, if you're not going to do that, you can trade the wedge. There isn't a really good sell signal here. I would have probably used a lower time frame. But there's so many opportunities in this, so many, and I think that's what I need to look for, those opportunities as they're presenting. I think most of all, trading in the always in direction is always a good idea. In this particular case, it was going long, and just looking for trades off the moving average is always a good idea. Buying this, for instance, now, or even buying this bar, buying this bar, this bar. There are so many good bars to buy off the moving average, and just betting for price to keep going up. All right, so that was my day. As I said, what I'm going to do from now on, just focus on one chart and trade it and just focus on each bar. Now I'm trying to understand what the relevance of this is. I know this is a wedge up here, how it's led to that, the relevance of this, an inside bar, outside bar, what that really means, because I don't really understand them as well as I thought I did, how this pattern really affects everything. Bar 18 I think was somewhere here. Was it here actually? So therefore it told you this was probably the low of the day. Yeah, I'm just really understanding what exactly is going on, and how do I now make decisions based on that. The relevance of this, now I know what this bar and this bar means, how this wedge is formed. This is a give up bar. Bears who were expecting price to drop did not get their drop, their stops were hit, and therefore this bar is big as a result of that. Two consecutive bull bars. One is big, always in long at this point. Stop down here, good support off the moving average. This 2060 bar moving average. There's so many things in here. Nice possible measured move, another measured move here. Once you have a breakout, you're headed for a measured move. And I think that also gave me conviction when we are even going into supply zone. I remember saying to my friends, we're going to a supply zone, but I believe that the measured move will hold. And we're always in long. Also, we've done this and we come down to the buying area. We're coming to test this zone. Also, we had a wedge here, which obviously led to this reversal. As you can see, that reversal did not. Yeah, this wedge looks like it's filled unless we go down and then bounce off. But let's see how that works out. Ultimately, we actually have another wedge forming. I just noticed that. So yeah, let's see how that goes. All right, we'll try again tomorrow. Hopefully we'll do a lot better. Oh no, I just noticed. Oh yeah, no, nothing.